up, guys? Welcome to episode 2, season 4. 5. 5. What is it? So, guys, we've been doing this for a while. Today, we're going to start with, I think Alex Stellato had a question. So we start with that. Guys, start asking your live questions. Always, guys, chime in about the audio because it's a lot easier for us to fix it while this is going on. Don't forget, we use this is a real academy. This is not a studio. So I think the sound is pretty good. We got the right microphone. I think we got the right setup, but we have to dismantle and reassemble every time we film. So if we somehow push the wrong button or something, let us know. So chime in with the audio. It's always good to hear from guys that are on the phones as well as laptops. So that way we make sure that we get both. So Alex Stellato asked a good question. We covered sort of Khabib's passing in MMA. How can you counter it? Guys, first of all, understand this. Jiu-Jitsu is not magic. So whatever answers you get, if your execution of the defense is worse than the guy's execution of offense, not going to work. So again, it doesn't mean that any type of defense or any type of offense is absolute. It is not. It is, you need to take it in the context and the skill level of your opponent. That said, so, which is the best angle? So this is actually quite, Khabib has an instructional where he gets sort of like this modified mount where the leg is underneath the body. And he doesn't lock. Easy there, they felt. So he doesn't quite lock the triangle, but you could see this gives you, first of all, a lot of, the hips are controlled. You don't have to, also gives you very good posture, meaning that very wide, his knees are wide. So this gives you a very good platform from which to start unloading. So there's a video of him doing this in a fight, where the guy tries to square up. And how many of these can you eat? Yeah. The point is, guys, so when you're in a horrible position, sometimes it's worthwhile, rather than doing the orthodox things, meaning that what is expected, do something unexpected. Because if you do what is expecting of what is expected of you, you go straight into where the guy knows where you're going to go. And this is where things start to get really severe, because how many punches can you eat? If they're well placed, it could be just 1 or 2. Even if they're not, if you square them and try to, 3 or 4 of them get through, that's a lot of damage. I know you're enjoying this. So for me, guys, if I'm in this position, the way I would do this, especially in MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, this is still going to suck, but it's not as much because you're not eating punches. But I would rather, especially in no-gi where you're sweaty, in MMA you don't even have a rash guard, I would choose start to turn to my back. And the reason for that is, this is too much punishment. So I'm a firm believer in give something where you hopefully can escape and hopefully live another day. It's a good thing that the guy was not talking to the camera while he's getting punched in the head. So as I'm giving up the back, guys, so basically you have to have good back escape. So obviously I need to somewhat protect my head, but most importantly, I need to get my elbows in a position to start to escape. So if I'm up here protecting the punches, yeah, this is one. So you may need to eat a few, but if they're going to be in the back of the head, that's not going to hurt you right now as much as the ones to the front of the head. Maybe down the road in 20 years, you will feel them. But, and I'm looking especially at the bottom elbow, meaning the right elbow, is going to start to get me out, hopefully. So I'm actually just going to go with this. Notice what I'm doing with my right leg. I'm stretching it out. And the reason is I'm trying to create an angle. So that way when I switch my legs, I off balance a little bit. And from here, I'm looking to either come up, hopefully at a slightly different angle. If I can get this, guys, I can get if I can get an underhook, I can reverse. Now, we're going to go a couple of different scenarios. Again, guys, anytime you drill something, you don't drill a move. You drill the move, understanding what the potential counters are, what the potential outcomes are, and how do you deal with those potential outcomes. So again, I'm going to the leg that's underneath me, okay? As I'm turning, I want to bump him forward to just create a little bit off balance. If at any point I feel there is room for me to jam both my arms under his leg, that's again a possible way out. So Enrique a high-level guy will most likely not just let you come out the back and wind up on top. What he's going to try to do is scissor his legs. He's not scissoring his legs, so I'm going to continue to come out until he scissors his legs to try to stay on top. And then I'm looking for an underhook to create some sort of a scramble. Oh, what do we got here? So remember this, guys. If you're in trouble, scramble is your friend. If you're... Scramble legs, yeah. If you're doing the attacking, if you're in offense, you want control. You want things to be very orderly, so you can sort of shut his defenses down in a funnel until he has no other option to give up. But in a troublesome situation for you, scramble is your friend. Let's go through this a little bit, a few more times. Again, guys, understand it's sort of like there's always an answer. The question is how deep into a possible submission, or in this case, TKO, are you? You may, if you need enough punches, and again, it's a function of how good is your jaw. That's something you're born with. Has it been, conditioned over the years to shut down quicker? When you get hit, when you get choked out, the more you get, the more it happens, the quicker your brain shuts down. If you're, and the placement, if the guy is just, if it happens, just hits on the right spot, that may be it. But again, there's always an answer. Question is, do you have sufficient time to execute it before you either get submitted or get knocked out? So again, notice what I'm doing with my right leg. We're going to do it a little faster after this. Let's see how many punches do I get to eat. So my right leg kind of goes wide. And the reason for that is, you can see that alone, even though I don't want to be arching. Because if I arch, this kind of almost adds weight into his punches. So I want him to make, as I'm kind of moving, his weight is going in a different angle, not straight to punch, to rain punches on my head, but slightly off angle. So again, I'm trying to create almost a couple of subtle things that are not going to protect me to some extent. So I kick my right leg to the side. As Enrique starts to off balance, if I can get my arms under, chances are he's going to scissor his legs and try to turn back. As this is happening, go ahead, get your leg up. I'm starting to go with his weight. If he stays there, I continue to come out. Yeah, accidental TKO. As this is happening, the question is, how does he react? But anytime you put somebody's hands on the mat, they're not punching you in the face. That is the most extreme danger that you're facing right then and there. It's not a submission, which may come because it's a dominant position. But the most important thing is to protect your head, your face, especially the front of your face, from blows. So let's look at it one more time. Let's choose a slightly different angle. Let's maybe go from this angle. So I did say we're going to do it a little faster. All right? So again, have a plan, drill it, repeatedly with different outcomes, different people. So if you fight MMA and you fighting guys that have this style of fighting, for sure, have a plan, drill it, different people, play around with outcomes. So that way you know, okay, if he falls this way, I can get both hands under, I'm coming out the back way. If he scissors his legs, try to stay on top side control. You kind of arch him over your body. So there's a lot of different ways, but again, the idea is to protect your face and create a scramble. Once the scramble is created, you should be able to escape. If your defense is better than the guy on top playing offense. All right, John, what do we got?
So audio looks good. Aldolfo complimented your megaphone voice.
Yeah.
Coach Ella would like to know, is there one concept to this position that can help you both offensively and defensively?
I'm not quite sure what that question means.
Yeah, it seems kind of broad.
Just be good.
Yeah. The overwhelming concept is whether you decide to add this to your arsenal on the offensive side as well as defensive side. Make sure that you are good at this. This brings me kind of to an interesting topic. I'm going to use this as an example. Buggy choke. So it's called mousetrap, buggy chokes. People get very, very upset if you call it buggy choke and they call it mousetrap because some guy did it back in 2009 and called it a mousetrap. So I refer to buggy choke based on what the commentators on Flow Grappling, which they will most often refer to it as a buggy choke. And there's one most common variety. There's probably 90% of the buggy choke / mousetraps are done in this way. There's others that are more obscure, that are maybe more dangerous because it's much harder to defend. But I'm going to tell you, can I tell the story from Long Island, remember? So Enrique's fighting in this 8-man tournament. Absolute weight, he was the lightest guy, he's 170 and lightest guy, big. And one of the guys that he was going against is a buggy choke expert. I told him, I said, listen, if you get buggy choked, because he does it to me, how many times have you done buggy choke to me in the last 3 years? A couple hundred times, easily.
Yeah. As a joke, I don't try to.
Yeah, sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. So, out of that couple hundred times, I would say you get it less than 5 times. Yeah. I escape, and a lot of times with a submission on him, most like a couple hundred times. And so I told him over there, I said, if you get buggy choked, I'm leaving you in Long Island. You're gonna have to walk home. And he didn't get buggy choked, but and then we went. I said, let's just go over the defense. And I did it to a couple of guys, and they literally would cough almost. It's the Von Flu's defense. We've covered it, so if you're curious how it is, just look it up on our channel. The guys were coughing like they literally were smoking all their life, pretty much from birth, and they couldn't catch. It's strong. When you did it to me, I was disappointed how weak that defense was. Yeah, because you rarely get caught in it, right?
My prevention is good.
Your prevention is good, but your actual cure, when it happens, it was not good. It's better now. So long story short, what I'm trying to convey to you, whatever you add to your arsenal, especially at the higher level, make sure it's technically good. Because when you go with the guy that's bigger and stronger or better than you are, you better have it honed extremely well, and that being for offense or defense. So long way around, make sure you hone your technique and timing. Technique and timing. Technique and timing will beat anything. Strength is good, yeah, but people train and lift and run and all this. Yeah, if you have time, if you have the energy or whatever, do it. However, if you don't, and you're going to prioritize things, technique and timing. So I guess that's the overwhelming concept. John, what else do we have? Because I want to address one thing, because I've had it in my notes for a long time, and I keep forgetting.
Yeah, there's not too much. Good morning, Frankie, Junior, Carlton. Coach Ella just followed up, said sorry to be vague. I was just looking for something in general that you can use offensively and defensively and change your game. So
Drilling.
dri-
Yeah, drilling. Drilling is underrated. Have a plan. Every time you go into class, have a plan. Don't go in as like, especially at the higher level, or especially if you're one of the top instructors. Like for me, I train with Enrique 2 or 3 times a week, maybe. But every time I go in, I kind of have certain things that I want to work on. And literally every time we train, I'll probably make 5 videos of me doing something slightly differently, tweaking it to make sure that that we keep kind of honing and polishing the skills. Guys, combat jiu-jitsu, I like it. The team version of it, never watching it again. I know it's been a few weeks. 4 minutes? How the hell did we piss away 16 minutes already?
I was trying to knock you out. You lost track of time.
Oh, yeah. So, guys, get your questions while I'm talking about this. So I watched the combat jiu-jitsu team, and I like the idea of combat jiu-jitsu. I think it's a good. That team, I will never watch it again. I'll tell you why. First of all, I don't believe the better team won. I believe B team was the better team. It just they played the team that won played the rules better. Won in overtime. But the bigger reason is, so this was done in Mexico to avoid sort of the athletic commission interference, which I get, I understand. However, the guy that impressed me probably the most in the whole tournament was the guy from 10th Planet with long hair. I forget his name. He was in 3 rounds, back to back. When you hit with the palm, if you know what you're doing, that's as hard as a punch. People have gotten knocked out. Under no circumstances should anybody go with striking involved where there's brain damage. You may not get knocked out, but doesn't mean there was not a brain damage. Under no circumstances should you go back to back with fresh people. You go with somebody that's as tired as you are, it's okay. But if you go against somebody that's fresh and you coming off, this is your 3rd match where in the previous 2 you took a couple of big hits, that's a problem. So if anybody that has influence with Eddie is listening, that is my biggest problem, and I'm never watching the team thing again unless this rule is changed. So let's go back. Guys, what do we have? We only have 3 minutes.
Back to the buggy choke. Is there a chance to know if the buggy choke will work on an opponent without trying it? I guess sizing up the opponent, or is there a way to see their ability level or something to know if he's even attempt it?
Usually it's a province of lankier guys. If the guy is, 5'6" and weighs 180 pounds, there's very unlikely he's going to get a buggy choke done. So you could actually watch it in tournaments. I like buggy chokes. I like mouse traps. I think it's a good Hail Mary defense. I think the biggest problem, there's 2 problems with it. People think it's some sort of a magical weapon and do it with bad leg positioning. And there's a horrible video with a guy kind of snapping his tibia, fibula, one of those things, because his technique is poor. However, the biggest problem that I see with it is people think it's a magic weapon and almost bait guys into guard passing. I remember one of the tournaments, one of our students, Sean Mullen, he's going with in a tournament, Grappling Industries, where you do round robin, and there's a guy trying to buggy choke and buggy choking people left and right. I said, and Sean did not know the defense. I said, Sean, if the guy tries a buggy choke on you, this is what you're going to do to him. And sure enough, the guy, Sean, did a fireman's carry takedown. He wound up on top. The guy tried to buggy choke him, and I literally showed Sean what to do. It's a Von Flu. Again, we covered it twice. So the guy tapped. It was a submission. So again, I'm a fan of buggy choke as a Hail Mary defense, but make sure that you understand that there's against the most common variety, there is a very simple defense which will make the guy make adjustments or possibly change. So if you cannot get the submission, meaning the Von Flu submission on the guy on the bottom, then at least use it as his adjustments for you to escape the position. And don't use the buggy, don't bait people into passing your guard. John, what else? We have time for one more question.
Last question, I guess. Did you post your European camps yet?
I did not, guys. I post everything on Facebook, usually on my personal account. I give people people send messages to the academy page. Understand, there's about 12 people in my academy that manage the academy page, meaning that you may not. And I've told people, hey, I take a screenshot of my personal page, even if I'm maxed out on friends. Periodically, somebody drops out, I'll add more. But but you can still send me questions. And people still send me on the academy page. Guess what? I cannot, unless there's a new question or new message, I cannot access them. So even if I want to respond to you, if somebody already responded to you, I may not be able to access it. So try to send the questions to my personal account. That said, I have there's still a couple that I'm trying to slot in. I will probably try to do a Globetrotters camp. I don't know which one yet, but I will try to squeeze that in. But I have a Czech camp June 9th to 11th. So I'm going to do the Sicily camp again. Guys, this was a lot of fun. I'm not changing a thing. So we're going to do that. Most likely, this is going to be July 5th, July 4th or July 5th to July 10th. That's Sunday, whatever that is. So I think it's the first week in July. That's a lot of fun. It's the airport is Catania in Sicily. It's an easy flight from most European cities. It's like EasyJet or Ryanair. It's a nonstop flight. All the Americans, we have to switch over anyways. There's no direct flight to Sicily. John, what's up? You look like you had a...
Oh, yeah, no, before we log off, Aldolfo had a comment here. He said one of the Rodriguez brothers got the buggy choke against Hunter Colvin in the ADCC. Do not sleep on it.
Yeah, because people, what they do, I saw it. I was there. There was literally the ADCC trials on the West Coast had spectacular failure where the guy tried to buggy choke and the guy picked him up and slammed him, and literally, like, the guy was laying on the mats for 45 minutes. The paramedics had to come and take him away one of those stretchers, and then you had a spectacular success where J-Rod in the finals, he got his guard pass, which normally that 30 seconds left in, that's done, that's it. The other guy won, and the guy tries to pull away. Look what happens to your neck when you try to pull away. It opens up. So I thought the question was related to the point. So I don't. So I'm going to try to do, the Czech camp is given June 9th to 11th. Guys, if you're interested in that one, that sells out every year. There's 60 people, sells out every year. So get on that. The Sicily camp, again, this is a lot of fun. We have tour of Mount Etna, tour of a winery. The hotel is really nice. If you're really trying to watch your money, you can stay at Airbnb nearby. That some of the guys did. If you can afford about $70 roughly, I got to check, make sure the price didn't go, but it's $70 per person per night. It's a beautiful 4-star hotel, beautiful pool, private beach, views of Mount Etna, and a breakfast included. It's $70 per person, double occupancy. So we also go to Taormina. Guys, when you go to my camps, I'm not a fan of spending 12 hours on the mats. We will spend enough time on the mats, but what I really want people to do and see is the nature and the history, where you broaden your horizons. So one of the two, we have like 3 or 4 tours, group dinners included in the full package. One of the things, we go to Taormina, which it's a Greek theater, pre-Roman, guys. So if you don't know, pre-Roman, so Greek, it's 2,500 years old. It's still in use today for concerts and music festivals and movies and so forth. So we have a tour of that as well. So anyways, I'm going to do in Holland for sure. I just don't have the dates. I'm probably going to do one more Czech. I'm going to try to squeeze in one in Germany. Again, I don't have a date, and I think that might be it for the summer. I don't think I have, because I need to make sure that I teach my students here as well. Wait, any last minute question? We're done. Guys, I will see you next week for season 3. Episode, see what you did to me? Season 5, episode 3 next week. Share, and apparently I'm freaking on sale again on BJJ Fanatics.
Well, but if you don't want to be on sale, don't tell them the sale. Let them buy it full price.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, guys, I do this for free, and I'm okay if you live in a country where people don't have a lot of money. Buy it on sale, use coupons. But you know, I had a guy from U.S. or Canada. He's like, I'm cheap. I'm waiting for this thing to be $20. I wanted to. I was nice to the guy, but I wanted to say, you know what? Keep your $20. It literally took me. Some of these things took me. You know, I've been training almost. Oh, this year is going to be 30 years. It is almost 30 years in May. Some of these techniques take me 10, 15 years to hone. Daily training, daily drilling, and you're going to wait till it's $20. Anyway, share, like, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next week.